クできました。
Today you've got myself, Jono, and around the vessel is the rest of our motley crew. So feel free to ask any of us any questions you may have along the way. So, that's what the world's
some pretty white, sandy looking beaches. Probably discovered the odd shrimp on the barbecue. In my opinion, this place has also got a pretty average taste of beer and a weird sounding accent. Probably known as New Zealand's West Island. However, and look around at all sorts of weird, crazy, stupid and funny angles. Mr. Melling oil, and this oil they're using to export to Europe. Great use of power street, they've put it there as much oil, and this oil they're using to export to Europe. Great use of power street, First known in Māori is one market, and a cloud of fish on the water. Named Stirling Falls after will take 10 years off your complexion overnight.
Just mind your step on the way out.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
He's performing alright. He's been a cheeky bugger. Just to be mindful behind.
The absolute panic of what do I do?
Want your shoelaces?